Misted by a big space. Now Silent Trust and Miscreation got away well. Molcello is prominent, and General Jackson is there. So too is September Mist driving through. Concord Flight takes up a position, and off the track was Ken Point, followed further back in the field Matangi, followed then by Positive Flyer. Carla Sell is well back, followed by Wenders second last, and Petite Sal at the tail of the field. On settling down, they've got about 900 to go as they leave the back and race down the side. Miscreation leads along next, September Mist, followed by Silent Trust, General Jackson. Matangi goes through a group of horses, followed by Concord Flight. In behind those Molcello, followed then by Ken Point. Wenders is back towards the tail of the field, followed by Petite Sal. In behind those Positive Flyer and Carla Sell as they race down towards the 600 metre mark, the last at Canberra. And September Mist moved up on the outside of Miscreation there, well clear. Silent Trust is third, followed then by Ken Point running on. In between horses, General Jackson, followed then by Concord Flight. A further break, Matangi, as they race towards the turn. In behind those, Wenders angling for a run, switched out wide. And the next one was Carla Sell, followed by Petite Sal and Miss May, and Positive Flyer at the tail of the field in the straight with about 300 to go, and Miscreation kicking back in front of September Mist. Now Ken Point, the grey on the outside, is running on, and here comes Wenders right down the outside. Oh, Wenders is coming very, very quickly. It's Wenders and Ken Point, the stablemate, but Wenders swept to the lead near the line, and here's another one for JP Morrissey. Wenders got up to beat the stablemate Ken Point. September Mist third, followed then by Concord Flight, Miscreation, Positive Flyer, then further back in the field, Silent Trust, Carla Sell, Miss May, well back General Jackson, followed by Molcello, well back in the field, Matangi, and Petite Sal was last. So that's 6 out of 8 for JP Morrissey here this afternoon. Quadellering the last race with Wenders, Matthew Carl. I'm not too sure how many winners Matthew Carl's ridden. Is it 3 or 4? Number 2, Wenders is the winner. It's raced by the Gundaroo Stud Syndicate. Wenders the winner, raced by the Gundaroo Stud Syndicate. A 3-year-old brown gelding by Revocious out of Curtsey. Ken Point, a 3-year-old grey gelding by Ken Mayer out of Here's the Point. John Morrissey, Gary Buchanan. And the third number in that race. Now please note, hold all tickets. Hold all tickets, please. Now the third number is 5, and that was September Mist. Now please hold all tickets. One of the runners, Petite Sal, missed the jump rather badly, but there's no doubt about the winner. Wenders, trained by John Morrissey. Ken Point, trained by John Morrissey. And September Mist third, trained by Brian Callaghan. That's 6 out of 8. Another remarkable effort by trainer John Morrissey. Now the time for the race, 1:26:36. 1:26:36 in the last. It's 2-1 and 5. 2-1-5 official. Number 8 was 4th, Miscreation. And number 4, Concord Flight, finished 5th.
Okay, well, that's the final event at Canberra. Hold all tickets in relation to Petite Sal, number 15, who seemed to bungle the start, but what an extraordinary performance. Another training feat that John Morrissey will remember for quite some time. 6 of the 8 winners there are all from his stable this afternoon at Canberra, including the Quinella in the last race. It's 1 short of his best, which was about 11 months ago at Canberra when he trained the first 7 winners and the 2 runners up in the last 2 races, but still 6 winners today. I don't think he'll be complaining, John Morrissey. Matthew Carl was on 3 of them this afternoon, so he takes the riding honours. But Glenn Perry, that up-and-coming apprentice, might be a boy to follow in future. He rode 2 of the winners for the Morrissey stable. So another big day at Canberra, but dominated by 1 man. Donald, race 8 in 5. Richard Zachariah.
Thanks, Matthew. And the sun's broken out here, and a smile has broken out on the face of John Morrissey, because he's had a huge day.
Yeah, thank you, Richard. It's been very satisfying.
How many times have you trained 6 winners on the program?
This is the first time. I trained 7 once before, and I've had 5 plenty of times.
So this is your second best personal best?
It is, yes.
Why do you hit your peak at this time of the year when you did 7 last year in January, just a little bit later in February, now you've got 6, another personal best?
Well, I think it's because we try and time our horses coming into Canberra's better racing, and I'm lucky I've got owners that don't want to push their horses early and give them a bit of time. But this is, over the years, I've always sort of started to go all right this time of the year.
It's true, isn't it, that some horses peak at different times of the year, and trainers do too. They have their time, their body rhythms are obviously good.
Yeah, I think so. Like with horses, you know, you can have a horse come in and it goes terrible and give him a break and he comes back your best horse in the stable. But I do think it's a lovely time of the year to work now, and I think everybody's happy and everybody's been had holidays and they come back refreshed, and you know, it's good for the horses, and you're going into your better races, so you know the staff and you are keener. and I think it plays a big part.
That's a very interesting suggestion, the philosophy that the holiday period brings out happy workers when they come back. I think that's a most interesting thought. But we did see in the last a horse called Wenders, who was quite a promising horse and then sort of went off the boil, but today a good win.
Yeah, I think we've just worked out how to ride him. You know, he's a horse that's got to be ridden very cold. You know, unfortunately, they don't give you instruction books with horses, and sometimes it takes a little bit of time to work them out.
We were just talking before about your young fella Glenn. He's coming on very well indeed.
Yeah, Glenn's only sort of very basic at the moment, but he's a very good young boy with a good attitude. I'm very keen. I just hope he doesn't get too wet, because he'll probably be the last apprentice I have. Since the AJC has started this academy, I won't be having any more apprentices, because it'll never work. And I sort of always find for these boys, I've always had a good kid. You work them hard, and give them sort of a lot of discipline, and give them opportunity, and they finish up good young men.
My information is that it's not over yet, I don't think. I don't think the academy is necessarily a fait accompli. I don't think it's necessarily been sort of written in stone.
Well, I've learned over the years when they make these decisions, don't get involved, because you only give yourself a heart attack.
That's an interesting thought. But I agree. A lot of trainers have said exactly the same thing to me. You can't teach young fellas in a school. You've got to be out there in stables, and they've got to be in the real world.
Of course you do. You know, most of these people, I'm not saying the academy, you know, most of these people that try and teach these type of things have no street sense. They have no experience in the rural life of apprentice jockeys, and you know, they're on the wrong track.
It hasn't been working so far. It's not. I don't think it's working. It's going to work as you do. But I do hope you go on with more apprentices. I'd hate to see that system finish.
Well, I hope I do. If it changes, I will, because I think any industry is about staff training, and you know, I think you've got to be tough on people, give them opportunity. The young kids this day and age have too much freedom, and you know, I take a lot of pride in my young boys.
Well, you've got another good one in an old-fashioned young fella called Matthew Carl. He is a good boy.
Well, he's the old-time sort of. He's just what we're talking about, isn't he?
Yeah. He's really a country boy who just loves being in the country. A great rider, and got enormous self-discipline.
Well bred and well brought up.
Yeah, okay. John, congratulations on a wonderful day. 6 out of an 8 race card is something. It really is something to remember forever.
Thank you very much, Richard.
And with those nice thoughts from John Morrissey, we'll say a goodbye on a very sunny afternoon in Canberra. And Matthew, thank you. And it was a wonderful day's racing here. After 2 inches or nearly 1.5 inches of rain, or 40 millimetres last night, they thought they mightn't even race, but we did under overcast skies. And it has been a lovely day's racing, as we've seen also in Melbourne, and with a great performance by General Nadim. So with my producer, Graham Dick, it's back to you at the studio, and thank you for watching.
No, pleasure. Thanks for being with us, Richard, and a safe trip home from Canberra. That's another successful meeting at the ACT Racing Club over and done with, but they've got some good ones coming up, including the Black Opal. Now, Caloundra Race 8, a Class 2.